Greetings, my name is Rudimentary Rob. Welcome back to my Valheim series. Today we have a lot of adventuring on our plate. So strap in, put on your comfortable travel shoes, and we are going to see if we can find some awesome stuff out in the plains. Now, we start off our adventuring today with working our way through the territory we explored in the previous episode. Needless to say, there's a few locals that seem to take exception to our presence, but we really don't have a lot of trouble dispatching those these days. Now, we've got a Lox here that we picked on earlier. He tried to run away, but not very successfully. And we have another one of our Gobbo buddies there just to make my day just a little bit longer than it could have been. Just a quick recap. I'm mostly checking these villages to find the locator stone for the next boss, being Yagluth. At some point later in this episode is when the penny drops, and a conversation I was having with my friend Itchy reminded me that the villages actually aren't where you find the locator stones for the next boss. But for all intents and purposes, for at least half of this episode, if you see me checking out villages and destroying their residents, it's so I can clear them out and have a failed attempt at locating a beacon to tell me where Yagluth is. This particular village, I wasn't actually expecting to have as much resistance as I ended up having, and that was mostly because of its proximity to this tar pit. With how often the growths respawn, and with the active combat that I was seeing as I approached the village, I expected, I don't know, a third or more of the Gobbos to actually be dead. Unfortunately, it hasn't actually worked out that way, but rest assured, we are going to use our, I suppose, better than rudimentary skills at clearing Gobbo villages to make sure we get this Gobbo village cleared as efficiently as we can. To date, I don't actually have any domesticated Loxes yet to give me a reliable supply of Lox meat, so anytime I see them out in the wild, yeah, all I can see is supplies for making more of my Lox pies. bet I made this combat look positively rudimentary. Well, it kind of is and it kind of isn't. You've got to, prioritise your blocking against whatever's doing the most damage to you, and just juggle the other targets when you can. Yeah. And if you do everything the right way, you get to live. If you don't do everything the right way, don't worry, there'll be a gravestone along shortly, and you'll just have to run back and get your gear. Now, you might be thinking, how do I know what the right way is? Well, any method that you can deal with a given situation and come out of it alive is, by my definition, the right way. So, find what works for you. Alright, you ever have those really good shots with a bow? Try this one on for size. I mean, seriously, I could barely see the top of his head over the hill. One arrow, one shot, nothing but gobbo. Excuse my rudimentary editing to show the zoom there. Hopefully that wasn't too shocking or stressful. But when you have a bit of luck like that, it's, yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, if some of the switching around and rapid view changes seem a bit desperate, it's because I'm looking around this village going, I'm sure there's supposed to be a locator beacon here somewhere. Well, it doesn't matter how hard you look. If something's not there, it's not there. So, I took that as a bit of a hint to bring some more of the black metal back to the boat. You see they're unloading with all of the other black metal. I was about to get underway again after picking up a rested buff back at base. I stepped outside the tower and sure enough, little Gobbo was there ready to greet me. Needless to say, with him out of the way, we run back over to this village we've just cleared to pick up any of the leftovers that we hadn't got in the first trip. given we are getting further and further away from our tower base, I'm sort of scouting this river as much as I am scouting the plains, because I want to make sure I've got a way of getting back here, you know, by boat if need be, if the need arises. So here I am out and about. It's night time, it's the plains, and inevitably you always come across these multi-gobbo patrols, and we are going to use our rudimentary method of cracking each one on the nose to keep them slowed, and we'll just chew away at each one gradually until there are no more gobbos standing. And in today's episode of Reading with Rob, we hear about how the plains looked peaceful and pleasant, and how someone found it was worse than everywhere else, and there's those cursed insects and all that other good stuff. And honestly, at this point with my gear level, the plains aren't really that much of an issue. Yeah, you need to be careful around the villages, but the rest of the time, most of the stuff can be dealt with. Just be careful around the loxes and around the villages. And in a bonus round of Reading with Rob, this one was slightly interrupted by a couple of skeletons, but don't worry, we do load this one back up again. We hear about the Curtain of Night and all the other blessed things out there that come from the gods. Or the game developer. Maybe the game developer may think that they're gods. Honestly, the game is pretty good, so, I mean, I'd be open to that kind of suggestion. Well, we are still pushing through the night, deleting quite a large number of skeletons. Seems a little odd for the plains, but I don't know. It's not like skeletons are an issue these days anyway. But the goal here is we're still pushing towards the sealed tower, and we are starting to get fairly close now. Initially, as we're going through, I thought that rock spire was the tower from a distance, but it isn't. The tower is a little bit further up. Don't worry, we will get a very good look at it shortly. And boom, there it is. This is another of the Hilda's quest locations. There is no access to the tower from the ground floor. You've got to build up the side of the tower. Apparently you can go all the way to the top and get access through the roof. The last time I did it, I built up about halfway, found a balcony and forced my way in there. Now, as you can tell from all of the laughing that's going on in the sealed tower, it's basically full of gobbos. And we're not just talking the vanilla ones. There are shamans, there are berserkers, and there are just about every other flavour of gobbo in between. It is quite a dangerous place to try and clear. Do I have enough gear to do it at the moment? Probably, if I was careful enough. I would want to bring fire resist potions with me though, because in close quarters like that, it is almost impossible to dodge the shamans. You inevitably get set on fire, and because you're inside, doesn't matter what the weather outside's doing, you're gonna burn. So rest assured, whenever I do make a decision to do the sealed tower, I will probably make that a special episode, because it is quite involved and the boss is a bit of a handful. So stay tuned for that one in the future. In the meantime, I'm starting to realise that even with not clearing villages anymore, my inventory is really starting to fill up, particularly with black metal, and I don't want to start throwing it away. So what I'm going to do is make myself a workbench and a chest, and I'm going to leave it here on the shore, because at this point I'm reasonably certain I will be able to get a boat through to here to pick this up later. So we drop our workbench, we drop our chest, we chuck all the extra stuff in the chest, and then we're going to put a little marker on the map to make sure I don't forget where this is, just in case it is a little while before we get back here. At this point in the footage, at a recording time, this is when I was informed and reminded that the markers are not in the villages. And so, this is the point forward where the strategy changes quite a bit. So let's see how that works out for us. While we've got this beautiful clear weather in game, I'm now looking around for something that looks a bit like a Stonehenge, but just the single like arch rather than a full Stonehenge structure, which you do come across the full Stonehenge structures, but in this case the locators are usually near just the single stone arches. Like, you'll see other stones around, but it won't look like a Stonehenge itself. So that's what I'm focused on looking for now. And I'm having a bit of a look around the map just to see if there's any other places that I could consider looking after this one, because I'm starting to think I might be getting towards the end of being able to explore this area. And I'm starting to think I'm not really going to find what I'm looking for, because In all of my exploration of this plains area so far, I haven't come across a single one of those structures. And as you can see from the map, I'm actually starting to work my way back to my starting point. So I'm getting some real reservations about being able to find what I'm looking for here. And I'm thinking, do I want to clear another Gobbo village? Just for the sake of getting some more metal. And after a very long thought process, I'm thinking I've got no rested buff anymore. I am quite a long way from home. And honestly, I think I've got enough black metal already. So it was getting quite late in my play session. I had over an hour and a half of recording at this point. And I just want to get it done. I just want to finish with this area, whether I'm successful or not. I just want to wrap this up so I've got something I can edit down to a useful length. And then I come across this thing. And this thing fits the description. This is the kind of thing that you're looking for. That arch. Whether it's got those extra stones around it, it doesn't matter. But this is the arch you're looking for when you're trying to find the locator stone for Yagluth. So I was starting to feel a bit better when I saw this guy. Yeah, you guessed it. No locator stone at that one. So it's time to keep pushing on. I mean, we're pretty much heading back to our stone tower mini base now. So there's really no other way except to go forward. And at this point, I've almost given up. I mean, I'm going to keep looking, but I'm more focused on let's just get back to the tower and be done with it. So, yeah. Well, this was a bit of an unexpected find, but that may look like just one of those abandoned farms, but it's actually a Draugr village. You can't really hear it very clearly on the footage, but I was hearing a few groans, and you could see the glow of one of the Draugr spawners there. I've marked it just in case I want to turn that into a Draugr farm later. Not particularly likely, but often it's a job to remember where you found them if you haven't marked them on the map. So, just when we more or less given up hope of this particular area having any more of these little arches, we've managed to find another one. So, look, we're here. You know, we're gonna kill these gobbos, and then we're gonna have a little look and see if we've got ourselves a locator stone on this one. Ooh, hello. What's that glowing red? Aha! Locator stone. Boom. And there's Yagluth. So, a bit of a trip. But you'll find Yag normally is about that far out from your starting point relative to the outside edge of the world. Usually a bit over halfway or 2/3 of the way to the edge of the world is around about where you'll expect Yag. So we've got a bit of a journey ahead of ourselves. Again, we're getting pretty late in the day, and I was tempted to kill that Lox until I saw the second pair of eyes pop out from behind it. And I thought, nah, trying to kill 2 Loxes with no rested buff, that's going to be a long fight. I'm not up for that. We're just going to keep pushing back. so we can get back to base, get warm and rested, and worry about our next steps in our next session. Okay, here we are, safe and sound back at the tower. There's one little gobbo here, just close enough to be annoying, so we're going to knock him off, and then we're going to head back to base, do our little unload, and our sign off. So if you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. If you want to see more, make sure you're subscribed and you've hit the notification bell. In the meantime, my name is Rudimentary Rob. Thank you very much for watching, and have yourself a fantastic day.